Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi, grade 5. How are you? Today we will complete unit 11 and we will study lesson 4. Grammar. We complete speaking about the passive and active. But before going to the grammatical rule which we will study today, we will read this short text about Titanic. Do you know Titanic? We will read short text about it. Exercise number 1. Listen and read. As usual, he gave us a short text like this and he gave us a question. After reading and listening, we will answer this question. Our question is, what does this museum teach you about? You will say, what does this museum teach you about? Okay? Now listen to the text carefully, then we will answer.
Listening 99. Listen and read. What does this museum teach you about?
The Titanic was a huge ship. It sank on its first trip in 1912. Today, you can visit the Titanic Museum in Missouri, USA, and see what life was like for the people on the Titanic. Visitors are greeted by people in costumes and are given tickets for their journey. Inside, the museum is decorated with things from the real Titanic passengers, like clothes, letters and jewelry. You can learn about the passengers and explore the world's most famous ship.
Listening 99.
Okay, I will read for you another time. The Titanic was a huge ship. Do you remember the question? What does this museum teach you about? Remember to answer this question after finishing this passage or this short text. The Titanic was a huge ship. It sank on its first trip in 1912. Today, Today you can visit the Titanic Museum in Missouri, USA, and see what life was like for the people on the Titanic. Visitors are greeted by people in costumes and are given tickets for their journey. Inside, the museum is decorated with things from the real Titanic passengers, like clothes, letters, jewelry. You can learn about the passengers and explore the world's most famous ship. Okay? What does this museum teach you about? This museum teach us what? Very excellent. It teaches us, or it gives us information about Titanic, about the ship which called Titanic. Okay? Also, we can learn about the passengers and explore the world's most famous ship, Titanic. So right here in next to this question, Titanic ship. Okay? Now go to our grammatical rule which we will learn today. Exercise number 2, read and learn. Passive and active. We will complete speaking about the passive voice and active voice. Do you remember the passive voice and active voice? Active means you have the subject in the sentence. Passive means you don't have the subject or you don't know the subject of the sentence. Okay? Look. Use the passive when the object of an active sentence is more important than the subject. Last lesson, I asked you or I told you to use the passive voice when you don't know the subject. But now you know the subject, but it isn't important. The object is more important than the subject. So here we have to put the sentence into passive. Okay? Look at this sentence. Active. People in costumes greet visitors. People in costumes greet visitors. Passive. Visitors are greeted by people in costumes. Here the visitors are more important than the people in costumes. The object is more important than the subject. So we put the sentence into passive. Go to the second box. Use by to say who or what does an action. Like what? Visitors are greeted by people in costumes. Look at by. It followed by the person who make the action. Okay? Use with to say what is used to do an action. Again, use with to say what is used to do the action or to do an action. Like what? The museum is decorated with things from the real Titanic passengers. Okay? So here in this two boxes we learn it that we use the passive voice when the object of the sentence is more important than the subject. Another thing which we learn it, we have two prepositions we use in the passive, which are by and with, followed by the people or the person who did the action. After this we use with. It is used to do, or what to do, what is used to do the action. Okay? Go to the exercise number 3. Read and circle. He made first one. Pictures are painted by or with artists. Artists, person, so we use by. Number 2. Bread is made by or with flour. Bread is made by or with flour. Very excellent. Make circle around with, because the flour is the material or the powder, white powder, which we use to make our bread, which we eat. Number 3. Aeroplanes are flown by or with pilots. Aeroplanes are flown by or with pilots. Very excellent. By. Make circle around by. Number 4. Photos are taken by or with cameras. Photos are taken by or with cameras. Very excellent. With. Make circle around with. Okay? Next. Thieves are caught by or with the police. Thieves are caught by or with the police. Very excellent. By. Make circle around by. These, number 6. These bottles are filled by or with water. These bottles are filled by or with water. Very excellent. With. Make circle around with. Exercise number 4. Rewrite the sentence. Use the passive or active. We read the sentence, understand, then we write or we rewrite it using the passive or active voice. He made First two. Mrs. Green teaches our English lessons. Our English lessons are taught by Mrs. Green. He made the sentence into passive. Very good. Number two. Fires are put out by firefighters. Fires are put out by firefighters. He wants us to begin with firefighters. Firefighters put out fires. Firefighters put out fires. He put it into active. Number three. Dad drives the children to school. Dad drives the children to school. He wants us to begin with the children. Okay? The children are driven. Okay? By dad to school. You can write. You can write here. Okay? So you will begin with the children. The children, plural, take R. Drives, the past participle is driven. So the sentence will be, the children are driven by dad to school. Number four. Criminals are caught by the police. Criminals are caught by the police. So we will begin with the police. The police, very excellent, catches criminals. The police catches criminals. Okay? The police, the subject. Caught, we put the base form of caught, which catch. We add s or es to the verb in the present simple when the subject is singular. The police, singular. So we put s to the verb. It will be, the police catches the criminals or criminals. 5. Mobile phones are used by lots of people. Mobile phones are used by lots of people. Yeah, very good. Lots of people use mobile phones. It's very easy. Lots of people, the subject, use the verb, mobile phones. So you will write, lots of people use mobile phones. Number 6. Hundreds of tourists visit my town. Hundreds of tourists visit my town. My town is visited by hundreds of tourists. Very excellent. Again, my town is visited by hundreds of tourists. 7. My clothes are washed by my mom. My clothes are washed by my mom. It will be, my mom, very excellent, washes my clothes. My mom washes my clothes. Okay? My mom washes my clothes. 8. Karen feeds the penguins. Karen feeds the penguins. It will be, the penguins, excellent, are fed by Karen. The penguins are fed by Karen. Okay? This is our lesson today. You can complete your workbook to do the exercise and practice how to put the sentence into passive, or how to understand what is the difference between passive and active. It will be unit 11 lesson 4 of your workbook. You have to do it. Okay, now goodbye grade 5. Goodbye.